What would you do if you had billions, but chose to live as if you had nothing? Ethan Caldwell, a tech mogul worth $12 billion, stood at the corner of 5th and Elm, his designer suit replaced by a threadbare jacket, his face smudged with dirt. For 3 months, he'd traded his penthouse for the streets of Harbor City, not out of necessity, but choice. Ethan was on a mission to understand the heartbeat of a city he'd shaped from boardrooms but never truly felt. No one recognized the man behind Caldwell Industries, and that was the point. The winter air bit at his fingers as he clutched a cardboard sign. Anything helps. Most passers-by ignored him, their eyes sliding past as if he were a ghost. Ethan didn't blame them. He'd done the same once. But tonight, something shifted. A man approached, his own coat patched and his shoes worn thin. He carried a paper bag, steam rising from its edges. "Here," the man said, voice rough but kind, handing Ethan a warm burger. "You look like you need this more than me." Ethan's throat tightened. He'd seen charity, but this was sacrifice. The man, who introduced himself as Sam, had nothing but shared everything. Sam sat beside Ethan on the curb, sharing stories of the streets. He spoke of lost jobs, a family he hadn't seen in years, and a stubborn hope that kept him going. Ethan listened, his heart heavy with the weight of his own privilege. He'd planned this experiment to learn, but Sam was teaching him something deeper. Humanity wasn't a transaction. As they talked, Ethan noticed a young woman nearby, shivering in a thin sweater, her eyes scanning the crowd nervously. Sam followed his gaze and frowned. "That's Lila," he whispered. "She's new out here. Doesn't trust anyone yet." The twist came unexpectedly. Lila wasn't just another face in the crowd. She was a journalist, secretly documenting life on the streets for a major expose. Ethan overheard her muttering into a hidden recorder, her words sharp and cynical about the city's elite. "They throw money at problems, but never see us," she said. Ethan's stomach churned. He'd been that elite, funding shelters from a distance, never meeting the people he claimed to help. Lila's presence was a mirror, reflecting his own detachment back at him. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan grew closer to Sam. They shared meals, laughter, and the unspoken bond of survival. But Ethan's experiment had an end date, and as it neared, he faced a choice: return to his old life or act on what he'd learned. Sam's kindness had cracked something open in him, and Lila's words had stoked a fire. He couldn't just walk away. On his last day undercover, Ethan stood before a crowd at City Hall, no longer in rags but still unrecognizable to most. He revealed his identity, the gasps rippling through the audience like a shockwave. "I've lived among you," he said, voice steady, "and I've seen what this city hides." He announced the Caldwell Foundation, a $2 billion initiative to fund community-driven shelters, job programs, and mental health services not from a boardroom, but guided by people like Sam. He invited Sam onto the stage, the older man's eyes wide with disbelief. "This man saved me," Ethan said, not with money, but with his heart. The city reeled. Headlines screamed, "Billionaire goes undercover, transforms Harbor City." But the real shock came quietly. Ethan tracked down Lila, offering her a platform to share her story, not as an expose, but as a call to action. She hesitated, then agreed, her cynicism softened by his sincerity. Together, they launched a citywide campaign, amplifying voices like Sam's and hers. Harbor City began to change. Shelters became homes, not warehouses. People like Sam found jobs, purpose, and community. Ethan didn't erase Povertino one could, but he gave the city something better, a chance to listen. Sam's burger had fed more than Ethan's hunger. It had fed his soul, reminding him that wealth wasn't power, but responsibility. And as Ethan looked out over the city he'd once only seen from skyscrapers, he knew he'd never look away again. Indy.